All right, boys and girls, here's chapter 3. Chapter 3, your RFO question, which means read to find out, is what is the weather like in this chapter? There's some really hard weather coming. And also there's a bonus question. What does the family call their baby calf? Okay, all right, here we go. All right, chapter 3. On Sunday, the air was still, the way it is before a storm. We dressed up and we rode the wagon to church. Inside the church, it was cool, like a prairie spring. And Caleb fell asleep. Maggie, Matthew, Rose, and Violet, our closest neighbors, sat in front of us. Their baby Tom reached out for Sarah. She smiled and she took his hand. And Papa smiled too. We all hated to go outside in that sun again. Maggie and Sarah walked to the wagon, shading their eyes against the sun. Any news? Asked Maggie. Seal is having kittens, said Caleb. Lots of babies. Maggie laughed. Well, that is big news. Come to think of it, I've seen Seal at our house, said Maggie, with Sam, the orange cat. Sarah smiled. So it's Sam, is it? Sarah and Maggie laughed together, and then Sarah reached over and she took Tom in her arms. She kissed the top of his head. I'm surrounded by motherhood, she said softly. I looked up at the way her voice sounded, sad and thoughtful. A calf is due soon, she added, and then kittens. Papa and Matthew came over. Papa's face was serious. What is it? Sarah asked. What's the matter? The church well is down. A whole foot, said Matthew. A foot? Exclaimed Maggie. That's even more than ours. Papa looked up at the sky. What if it doesn't rain? Caleb asked. I brushed his arm with my hands as if I was trying to brush away his words. It will rain, Caleb, I said. Tom held out his arms to Papa, and Papa lifted him up, smiling. Are those clouds, Tom? He said. In the west. Maybe it will rain. Maybe. Yes, said Maggie, trying to be cheerful. It will rain. Her voice looked serious all of a sudden. It will rain, she repeated. It's just the time before it rains that it's hard. It always is. We rode home, followed by clouds of dust tossed up by our wagon. The sun was blue. Heat waves rose off the land. As much as Papa wished for it, there were no clouds in the sky. Anna! Anna! I opened my eyes and morning sun poured against my quilt. Caleb was there, half dressed. What? The calf is born! Hurry! Caleb pulled down my covers and I jumped up. We ran downstairs. Why didn't you wake us up? I asked excitedly. When was he born? She, said Papa. He sat at the kitchen table drinking his coffee. Eat your breakfast first. Papa drank coffee and Sarah put bowls on the table. Caleb tried to run out the door, but Papa reached out and grabbed him. Eat, said Papa firmly. Hurry, Caleb, eat faster, I said. I'm eating as fast as I can, said Caleb. Is Mame excited? Does she like her baby? He asked Papa. Papa grinned at Sarah. An excited cow? I'm not sure I noticed. How do you think she looked, Sarah? I think she likes her calf, said Sarah, smiling back at Papa. Well, what does she look like? I asked. Small, brown, said Papa. She has some white on her face. Sarah looked at me over her cup. Your Papa says her face is as pale as the winter moon, she said. And to think that you said sometimes he's not good with words. I smiled at Sarah. Moonbeam, said Caleb. We could call her Moonbeam. Papa laughed at the name. Finished, Caleb said, his spoon clattering in the empty bowl. Finished, I said. And we ran out the door to the barn. Where in the shadows, Mame looked up at us. Her eyes were steady. After a moment, Mame leaned over to lick the calf that lay in the hay. Sarah's right, whispered Caleb. Mame does like her calf. Papa was right, too. Her face was as pale as a winter's moon. And here's Anna's journal entry that night. Sometimes Sarah dances, and she makes Papa dance, too. His face is shy. His His smile like Caleb's smile. Sometimes when Papa worries about the farm or the weather, Sarah takes his hand and she pulls him outside. Come, Jacob, come walk with me, she'll say. And then he does. They walk in the fields and the country road, Lottie and Nick always following behind them. Once they chased each other through the rows of corns, and we could hear the sounds of laughter. The end.